everybody there at home. Welcome to Return Us, where the world of building meets the world of possibility. Once again, I'm Marvin.
I'm William McCoy, co-host of ReturnUs. And here's a headline that you guys will probably have already seen, but we want to bring it up in this episode this week. Again, our podcasts are on Spotify and YouTube, so catch us there. But Amazon is cutting 14,000 corporate jobs as it ramps up AI. But for founders, this isn't just news, it's an opportunity, right? And so we'll be discussing that today on the podcast, the Returners podcast. And so, Marvin, dive into it. Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man, we're gonna dive into why the strongest startup movement right now might be kicking in right now, and as Will alluded to, stuff's getting cut. So right now, the corporations they're all retrenching, they're re-strategizing, and the bottom line is they are that in layman terms means they're getting rid of people. So let's go. Let's get ready. Let's get prepared. What's this? What are we gonna do, Will?
So here's a real quick version of what's happening, right? So break it down. Right now, Amazon announced that it's cutting about 14,000 corporate roles, roughly 4% of the corporate workforce. Now, there are people out there saying that it's going to be actually more than that, actually more than double that, closer to 30,000. But for right now, the number that is out there right now is 14,000 jobs. Their explanation, they're doubling down on AI. We hear AI every single where we go,
Yeah.
everywhere from our toaster to our TVs to our cars to anything that we have right now. The word is AI. And the reason why that is happening is because these corporations are trying to be more efficient, cost cutting, shifting resources towards the biggest bets, which is AI. The other reason why, and let's be clear about it, they've invested already billions of dollars into these AI systems. And so they got to start making them count. They got to start getting a return on their investment, just like anybody else. And so that's why you see these things happening. But what do you think is going to happen with this AI?
Well, I mean, at this point, it's no longer a theory. It's no longer an experiment. Companies, institutions are revving these things up. They are implementing them at scale. So it's not just a thought anymore. It's a lever. So a quote from Amazon taken from Fast Company says that generative AI is the most transformative technology we've seen since the internet. Let that sink in for a second. We understand the scale and the capacity of the internet, especially over the last 20 years. So Amazon.com, this is the world's second largest employer, is clearly saying that this is the most transformative technology they've seen. So if a company the scale of Amazon sees humans being replaced by tech, we can only just reason that that's going to trickle across the market. So that's kind of why we have to ask ourselves the great question: what does that mean as a founder?
That's a great point. The CEO Andy Jassy said in June. This was in June that we need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today, and more people doing other types of jobs. But that means that right now the old job ladder is wobbling. And the predictability of corporate roles is shifting. And this means that potentially you as a founder, you could be climbing a different ladder. If your mindset has been on potentially establishing your own business, then this might be definitely the time to start looking at it because as you can see, even the biggest employers out there are starting to cut people because of AI.
Right. Scary, really. But all is not lost. We just have to unpack it a little bit. So, let's re double down on why it's a founder led moment right now in history. Primarily it's because, as the market opportunity expands and the big players are stretching their strategy, it's going to create legacy open gaps. Customers are going to get less attentions. And what that's going to do is it's going to create new niches in the market. So, secondly, you got to take a look at cost structure reset. As AI drives down the cost of building and servicing goods, that creates an opportunity for founders. They can launch leaner teams, faster iterations. There's always going to be a ripple effect, but you can always capitalize off of that ripple effect. And then third, you're going to look at attention and talent redirection. So, as things get shaken up by the loss of manpower or the redirection of manpower, talent becomes available, audience have a sense of uncertainty in old institutions, and what that does is now they're going to start to lean towards the new normal. They're going to lean to new brands. They're going to be thinking about new solutions, and anytime there's a need for a solution, that's a great market for a founder. And then there's the narrative resonance. People are chasing meaningful purpose. People are chasing purpose right now because the agency and security is not there like it used to be. So
Right.
right now, if you build something that speaks to their needs, you gain the edge.
So the big players cutting jobs right now, to your point, Marvin, is an opportunity. And that opportunity doesn't necessarily mean collapse. Society is not going to collapse because of AI, but
Right.
it is transitioning, right? And that transitioning can equal opportunity. And what AI can do for founders right now is that it can level the opportunities out there. There are a lot of people who are not paying attention to AI right this minute. And so you, as a diverse founder, or anybody as a diverse founder, or somebody who's thinking about business and technology in the future, should be considering that when there's chaos, there's opportunity there. And that
Right.
opportunity right now is that AI is leveling the playing field as this transition happens.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Well said. So, for founders, the question right now isn't will I find a job, but it's more like will I build something that makes jobs irrelevant?
Right.
Let's take them into talking about those sort of opportunities. Will.
So opportunities, what do they look like in real practice? Well, here are three founder play things that you can possibly do that can help you trigger the shift, right? Human plus AI services. Well, corporations cutting roles, many organizations still need human judgment plus AI tools. Founders can build platforms where AI augments humans rather than replace them entirely. So that means that instead of getting rid of somebody completely, we're not there yet, we're getting there. You can have types of companies that include human AI. Would that include the human role plus AI as a tool? An example of that I would give you is there are companies out there that we're working with right this minute who are looking at ways to make forms, specifically forms for SEC and submitting to FINRA, easier. But it still requires a human touch, according to FINRA, to be able to review those forms and those documents before you can submit them to the SEC, right?
Yep.
Well, with that capability of AI reviewing the document first, and then the human saying, okay, I've reviewed your document. Now let me go ahead and see what it said and also go back through. It can speed up time that it typically takes to get these forms over to an entity like FINRA. So that's an example of something that someone can create. Undeserved talent markets, right? When big firms cut, many capable talents fall out of the system. Founders can build, train, matching, upskilling platforms tailored for this displaced workforce. Again, an example of that. I know a guy right now that I follow on TikTok. He's a data company, right? He deals with AI, and he's targeting trying to help people who are interested in AI come into his company so that he can, the people who are going to be displaced by through this AI transition can now go out and find jobs, but then also work within his corporation. So this is opportunities for you as a founder. If you're thinking about going out there and starting a business, you can build platforms and with AI included in your system, help your workforce transition into the future. Whereas other companies are still hanging on to the legacy way of teaching their employees about things that are happening right then in that moment, you can build your company and your employee and your workforce with AI with the future. And then
Amen.
finally, niche enterprise workflows, right? As AI automates the core of companies, many peripheral workflows are overlooked. Founders can build AI adjacent tools for subject verticals. Things like logistics, AR, HR, and operations are examples of this, right? Where big players don't go deep, you can go deep into these areas with your AI tools that are adjacent to these systems and people and make them more suited for specific or targeted markets, those niche markets.
Right on, man. It's time to think different. This is the new way of being. And you got to remember one thing: you don't beat the incumbents by mimicking them. You beat them by operating in their blind spots. All right, you're not gonna You're not going to out Amazon by doing what Amazon does, right? So it's time to rethink how we operate.
And right now, it's we don't need anybody's permission to do anything we want to do at this point, right? The world, the U.S., whatever you want to call it, has shown us how they feel about us, right? So don't wait for anybody's permission to go out there and do these things. Go out there and do them. There's nothing to lose at this point, right? You launch lean, you plug into the transition, and you iterate. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Once you get your skill down in this future, this transition of AI, you just continue to iterate those ideas until eventually you are a disruptor and you're not even worried anymore about the permission. You are the disruptor. You are the creator at this point.
Yeah, man. Well said, Will. And listen, this wouldn't be the return episode unless we gave you a tactical playbook. Listen, so I hope you got your pens and pads ready out there. And so here's the founder's playbook, because let's bring it full circle. Now is a great time to be a founder. We elaborate on why, we elaborate on the market, we elaborate what's going on with Amazon, and best believe it's not going to just stop with Amazon. So, one, remember, choose your niche. Pick an area impacted by AI layoffs or automation. Think AR, HR, processes, corporate training, knowledge, and work pipelines. Those things aren't going anywhere. They still going to need to be implemented. Number two, build your minimal viable product. And it's never been easier. You have all sorts of AI tools that allow you to do that. You have no code programs. You can get a prototype and MVP out quicker than ever in history. And get the version that resolves best and solves real pain points. Step three, tap the freelancers and talents from big collections. Hire and partner with people whose jobs are being disrupted. They bring dominant insight. They're bringing immediate retention of the old ways of doing things, but they're also going to be able to leverage that experience into the new way of doing things. It's a win-win. It's a bridge. All right. Step four, you want to launch a community. And we talk about this at length all the time. So you need early backers. You got to build a trusted audience. Of course, you have to give them value, and you have to connect with users who feel their disruption. Empathy goes a long way. It's not always business. A lot of times is about solving a need, and a need sometimes cause pain. And be empathetic to that, and help your community to resolve those. And number five, pre-fund via crowdfunding or other micro investors. So that's another reason why your community is going to be important, because as you use your community as early investors, as you work with your community as early investors and you align with them, you can definitely help scale and grow your mission and your product, and it brings value, and it's a win-win for everybody.
So if AI is cutting jobs, your company, your startup, your business should be creating ownership. Ownership for not just you, but your team, but also your people, right? It's time for us to start promoting our people. It's time for us to create ownership for our people. It's time for us to create leadership amongst our people. And your company could be the type of company that creates that leadership and then generational impact to a group of people as well.
I love it. Well, that's definitely true. Well, and I know you're thinking, I don't have, just stay lean. Just stay lean. The world is moving fast. Speed matters more than polish at this stage. So just, again, focus on the minimal viable product. Stay lean, stay agile, and, you can always expand from there. Right, Will?
So let's break it down into like a really micro success. Like you're absolutely right, right? Stay lean. Here's an example of this. Somebody working in the corporate world, hopefully before they get laid off, but if they do get laid off, right, see some knowledge-based redundancies happening. They build an AI-driven tool using Chat GTP or Perplexity out there is another great one to use. They put this information into the AI tool. It then goes ahead and creates a library of information for people to be able to use. Then they launch that system on a crowdfunding platform along with their idea, along with how it's going to create something that people need or do a service that people need. 300 backers come in and back them. 12 months later, they go back and grab other corporate clients with their product, and now they're off to the races. That's a real example, right? That's what we're talking about.
For sure. And that's not remote fiction. That's today's opportunity, folks.
Yeah.
So, if you stay lean, you'll lean right into disruption, and you can make some money. But let's recap. We talked about a lot today, and I hope it's benefiting you. So, here I want you to do us a personal favor. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Karuti.com and just check out how we're working with founders who are doing exactly what we're talking about. They're disrupting, they're building, they're founding, and we're building in frontiers and time zones all across the United States and Africa, and we're aligning mission with capital. We're making things happen, and so are they.
And let's just be clear about Karuti right this minute. We're still, I don't know by the time you guys get this on where we'll be, but the ideas that you see on there right now are going to be ideas that are upcoming. They're real founders, but they're founders that we can't actually show them as founders yet because we're still waiting on our registration with SEC and FINRA. But what you can do is you can also go to returnus.com, look at some of our old episodes about things coming up, get your ideas generated, right? We even have now a new pitch competition in there. You can pitch your idea within 5 minutes. Every single week, we're going to be giving people $100 just for pitching for 5 minutes, right? Your company could be one of those companies that we choose. Get $100, get you started, right? Now I know it's not a great amount of money, but at least it shows that you can win, and then you can take that idea and iterate it as we start to release the platform, the crowdfunding platform that we have coming up. So we really appreciate you guys following us on here. Any other words with Marvin?
No, this has been another edition of Return Us. Again, go to Karuti.com. Always remember one thing: don't wait for the future, found it. Hope to see you all again soon. I'm Marvin.
Will, take care.
Take care out there.
Bye bye.